Bloom Heart.
To action!
I'm assuming something noteworthy has
Yes.
happened here somewhere.
Now.
Check the trade post first.
Why not?
No, these guys haven't moved an inch.
On it.
Where exactly am I supposed to find this
All right.
connection to the heart then? Ruska said she saw a ghost dressed in rags with a long beard. Are you the old Memovira? His eye sockets focus on you, and his expression gains a semblance of life. The Memovira? Ruska? He looks at his ghostly hands, and when he looks back up at you, a light seems to blaze in the holes of his face. Was I the old Memovira? Oh yes. Oh yes, I ruled the Bloom with strength and wisdom, and the slums ran red at my word. The Council of Sega's Cliffs feared me. Merchants who trod my streets paid me. My word was law and none dared stand against me. His lips part in a feral smile as he grasped at the last memories of his mind. The new Memovira. Ha! What has she done worth mentioning? Who trembles at her voice? Tell me, who fears her steps? Who among her people wouldn't slip up late into her bag? Oh, she did for me, it's true, her and her coterie, but I had loyal retainers to the end. Loyalty and fear, like a fist. She may have taken my place, she'll never match my rule. If Bloom had turned against me after my decade in power, I'd be there still. She dragged me to the heart of the beast and let it sip through my mind, fed it all my crimes, and then she left me there. Ask your questions of me while the fragments of my memory still linger. Ask now and make the questions count. How did the new Memovira unseat you? No, what happened in the heart of the Bloom? She brought me through a new maw to an entry to the heart I'd never seen. It was then that I knew that what she intended. And we fought, but she was fast and strong and I was old and drunk. She didn't kill me though, oh no. She wanted me to suffer for the crime of raising her up. She found me there, and she stood above me and reveled in my pain as the Bloom sucked away everything that I was. I'll say this for her, she was better at malice than ever I was. How did the new Memovira unseat you? She knew the Bloom was angry with me. She told me she'd been below and had seen something that she thought might explain why I lost my bond. I didn't know she'd hidden her killers around the Bloom, and that she was the one who'd ruined shipments or driven off the citizens. She'd put her muscle into play and I never even saw it. And she took me to the heart of the Bloom. He swallows. What do you think of the new Memovira? A backstabbing harlot, a scheming whore. She couldn't hope to hold what I build. She has a talent for brutality but no mind for structure. Even if I've forgotten her, I'll laugh when the Bloom devours her. Well, tell me about your reign as Memovira. The memories slip. Lights skittering down a tunnel. As I grab at them, they go. No, stop them. They're mine. Right, I think... Oh, actually, we have another thing we can do. We can get rid of the Murdens. Yeah.
Yes.
Traders don't want to move in because the Murdens are blocking their path.
I'm ready. I'm always ready.
Still... Probably kill these separately here.
Of course.
See if we can talk this through. Probably not, but who the hell cares? I'm here to return our Tagalil standard, the flag in your nest. It's a squalling blast of static, and then she says, "No, pretty cloth from a drinking man belong here. Right of death. I'd drinking man wanted, he steal it back." Touch your amulet. Use it to communicate more clearly with the Murdens. You touch the amulet and it broadcasts the mental static of the Murdens physically into the room like feedback. The Murdens clutch their heads and hiss in irritation. "Stop! No more noise! Terrible, terrible, stop!" The Murdens back away from you and their demeanor has changed subtly. They're less aggressive and more fearful, but you can see how their unease might lead to a sudden display of force. They'll still require careful handling. I don't care. What the fuck am I gonna do? Yeah, I think we're gonna say very well. The
All right.
traders can take care of themselves.
I'm ready.
Still, where the fuck do we need to go?
Fair enough.
Speed edge, damage per effort. Mental damage. Bloom bone shard. It's a decent enough of a weapon, I suppose. Better than the crystal shard. And I'm gonna lose the crystal shard anyway. At the same time, I'm not really a melee weapon user, so... Do I care? No.
Why, of course.
I need to find a mouth. This is the only place there were mouths. Unless something new has popped up somewhere.
All right. Yes.
No.
All right.
I need to seek advice from a guide. There should be a guide right here. Grizzler. Do you know how to reach the heart of the bloom?
Updated my journal.
Folks say there's a mole that'll take you to the heart. If the stories are true, you can only see it if it wants you to. Easy smile fades. Never been there myself, but when I need something from the bloom, I go to the place where she's most likely to hear me. The Shrine of Sheila the Great. Right. What will I find there? I call myself Bloom Guide because I know this sack of guts, but the deep places are different, more alive, more conscious, full of voices, packs of them that warp themselves in flesh so they can wander around and feed. The heart is where memoviras are made and unmade. If you go down there, you ain't coming back until the bloom is finished with you, one way or another.
Yes.
Still, we got our answer.
Yes.
Hopefully, well, there's probably some kind of a crisis there, but hopefully it's not too demanding.
Of course.
You've been talking to the Memovira. She sent you to claim something from the heart, hasn't she? Or rather, someone.
The old woman shakes her head.
Too frightened to go herself, for she knows what will happen if she does.
What will happen?
The bloom will eat her body and soul. Doesn't matter how long she puts it off. The bloom will have her in the end. The only question is who it will find to take her place. But you want to reach the heart, and I can help you.
I'll remember that.
One gets to the heart in the same way one gets anywhere in the bloom. A maw will take you, and the maw you want is just over there.
The speck waves a hand toward the nearest corner of the shrine. You feel like a blindfold has been suddenly pulled from your eyes, and a wave of vertigo nearly knocks you to the floor. When you look up again, a maw has appeared. What does it want? Eye sparkling, the speck reaches out a hand to steady you.
Sometimes the bloom hides things from us. Its whispers distract our attention. Our senses perceive what's there, but our minds don't.
So the maw has been here all along.
So it has, but only my eyes could see. Even now the others are blissfully unaware.
She gestures to the cultists.
Some of them catch a glimpse now and then, but the whispers make them forget.
And it leads where?
Exactly where you want to go. To the heart, the source of all the whispers.
What does it eat?
Updated my journal.
Predators, but only those who are feared above all others. A person, a creature, the maw doesn't care. Getting them into the maw, that's the hard part.
Okay, I'll take a look at it. A thick mass of flesh protrudes from the wall, surrounded by waving tendrils. Appears to be another maw, just as the speck told you. If this maw wants a predator, then he's found one. And by that I mean me. Eritis turns to you. Will it eat me? Please let it eat me. I'll think about it. Don't think for long. Time is better spent doing other things like not thinking. A jar of iron wind. It is a predator, definitely. Deadly one, but do I really want to use it on a moth? Let's try the wait for prey. I have no other use for that. You hold out the construct's head and the boom tongues drift over it. I'm here, it cries out. Take my past, take all that I am. One of the tongues reaches forward, probing, touching the head almost delicately, sampling the flavor of the mountainside. All for you, whispers the construct softly, as if it's speaking to a small child or a lover. The tendrils wrap itself carefully around the head and lifts it from your hands. You watch as the head is pulled toward the maw, more tongues move to assist the birds, cradling the construct's head, stroking it gently, attaching themselves to it, quivering as they drink some sort of nourishment from its mind. All for you, the construct whispers again and again, its voice growing fainter and hollower each time. All for you. It disappears into the darkness and is gone. The chittering and hissing of the bloom rise to a sudden climax,
Making a note.
and the maw opens.
On it.
So what are we gonna do with the Iron Wind? The gullet, not really the heart. Predatory echo, predatory echo, predatory echo, tongue clusters. Yeah, this is potentially very dangerous. The man before you emanates gloom. His body is emaciated, and though he is quite tall, his hunched posture makes him appear shorter. The bags under his eyes are black and pouched, and his lips are almost comically downturned. Most of the time, his body is nearly transparent, though he fades in and out of view. Terror describes every line in his body, every sidelong glance. He sees you approaching and flinches. With a shuddering breath, he straightens, smooths out his ragged clothing, and says, "I'm Venetian. Hello. How did you come to this place?" "I don't remember much," he says, touching a ghostly temple with a shaking hand. "I was following someone I knew to help them, cut them." His fingers press into and through his head, but he doesn't notice. More burst from the floor. I felt crunching. He raises his eyes to yours. It was me, my bones, my body, but I'm still here. He stares through one of his transparent hands. Every day the bloom takes more of me. I'm fading away. Okay, tell me about the place. The gullet, they call it. This is where the bloom's food is digested, where fear fades to despair, where we wait to dissolve or to die. He swallows. I've survived longer than the others by hiding in shadows. The ones that fight each other are always looking for prey. He covers his eyes, but you notice they're still open, and his hands are transparent. I've seen such strange things here, such horrible things. Like what? I spent a day watching a bulge move down the wall over there, he says, pointing. Though I thought it was a tumor at first, but then I heard it sobbing, begging for help. After a time it dissolved into the wall and the begging stopped. Any other things? A talking wound in the floor, speaking through bubbles of pus. He promised it was an escape from this place, a tunnel to the outside. Only one of us was desperate enough to believe it. Reuben crawled in. She said she could see daylight. Then the wound chuckled and we heard bubbling like a pot on the boil. She screamed for hours and hours and hours. Anything else? The whirlpool. There's something inside it down below. The heartbeat like thunder. People who stare down that hole, who listen to the beating of the heart, they can't walk away. They lean closer and fall in. They fall in smiling. Yeah. Okay. So, tips and clues? A pillar of abominations is erupting from the floor. Pus and bile rip from the tortured mangle and collect to form a moat at its base. Walls are composed of half-formed organs and pulsing arteries. You can hear fluids pumping within and the sound of flesh shaping against flesh. So if we want that, we need to do something about it. I can do something with the clusters because I have the item to interact with them. Use the magmatic amulet to communicate with the bloom tongues. The voices grow louder, slithering into the cracks and crevices of your brain, dragging forth memories that are buried deep within you. Pain lances through your head, white heart, yeah. Not allowing them to feel anything. You summon the tidal energy within you and push the agonizing pain into the tongues. At once their voice turns to shrieks and hisses of rage. They twist and right, the ground shakes. Their fury is spent, the bloom tongues take control of the tongues. What exactly can I do with the tongues? You reach across the barrier that separates your consciousness from that of the tongues. They try to resist, but Okay, what can we actually do? Send the components in the middle of the chamber to some other part of the room. Try to sense what's happening outside the chamber. Okay, try to sense what's happening outside this chamber. The roots of these tongues extend beyond the limits of the chamber, where they are joined by countless more. Twisted and knotted together, they chitter and screech in a million little voices, snaking down toward something else. A vast, unfathomable presence that subsumes them all. A great pounding noise rises from the place where they converge, lighting up all nerves in your body with every thunderous beat. Whatever it is very close. Send the combatants in the middle of the chamber to some other part of the room. Listening with the alien perceptual organs of the tongues, you cast about for the chittering of nearby maws. At last you find one. It's locked away inside some darkened cyst, stranded in the depths of the bloom, lost and forgotten. You force some of the slumbering bloom voices in this chamber to call out of the maw, and its own set of voices responds. Understanding your intent, the maw opens a portal on the top of the battling shades, sucking them away and spitting them into the isolated cyst where it dwells. They won't find their way back here for some time, ever. We probably should mitigate our use of the bloom tongues. We're getting a lot of silver and red out of it, moderate amounts. We did this basically for see what we can do. Both the reward is a little bit of loot. Disruption Blade. On hit confers material disruption. Yeah, this isn't particularly worthwhile. I'll try to avoid using them unless absolutely necessary. Murden.
Why, of course.
The down on this Murden is patchy and streaked with its abhuman blood. Glassy eyes filled with hatred stare at you, and its beak dribbles foam. It cradles a ragged bundle fiercely to its chest. As you approach, the Murden blasts a field of static in your mind. You involuntarily step back, unable to get any closer to the creature. Unlike other Murdens you've encountered, the mental blast of this one is not just annoying, it's actively painful. Murden is clearly in a feral, desperate state. Its glassy eyes suggest delirium or madness. Perhaps this has somehow intensified its psychic abilities. A magmatic amulet. You place your hands on the amulet, and the Murden immediately couches his head and creaches piteously. Its mental static echoes back and forth between the Murden and the amulet, overlapping and intensifying. Pain gets worse for you too. Just as you're about to remove your hand from the amulet, the Murden groans and collapses to the ground, unconscious. Search. As an egg. This egg-shaped object is made of nearly pearly white synth. The moment you touch it, a lively tune begins to play in your mind, and the egg adheres to your hands, preventing you from accidentally dropping it. You unwrap the ragged cloth bundle that the murderer was trying to hide from you. Inside you find an egg-shaped object of a pearly white synth. When your hand brushes against it, you hear cheerful music. You also find something that looks like an adorably fuzzy head mounted atop a metal cylinder. The head is alive and appears to be dozing. Take both items. Okay. That sounds more interesting. This rectangular device is topped with the head of a furry, vaguely feline creature. The head appears to be dozing. Occasionally it makes soft cooing sound in its sleep. Right, of course it does. This is a quest item. How do you use it? This egg-shaped object is made of pearly white air. The moment you touch it, it's a bright and cheerful sound, a melody that a child might enjoy, and one that's likely to get stuck in your head. You notice that the egg has adhered to your hands. Examine. You peer more closely at the smooth white surface of the egg. Once again, an image takes shape, as if the egg itself is a view screen. It's a bird's eye view of you. In the image, you're holding the egg, gazing into it. All around you, little creatures dance and caper. They're the size and shape of toddlers, covered in pastel fur of mauve, orange and baby blue, with huge lustrous eyes and white furry ears. They begin to sing along with the music. You don't understand the words, but their voices are high-pitched and full of excitement. Okay, go around to see if the creatures are in the real world? No. At first you're not sure if the egg is stuck to you permanently, but it separates from your hand as if understanding your intent. Instantly the cheerful music stops and the image of the surface of the egg winks out. Okay. This is a rectangular device with the likeness of a furry feline-like creature's head at one end. It may be some kind of a toy or... The device grows warm in your hand, and with a wide yawn, the creature opens over-large eyes and gazes up at you with love-struck awe. Mer? You note that the furry head is remarkably similar to the little creatures you saw in the synth egg. Perhaps the two objects date from the same period in the past, or were brought to the bloom from the same alien world. Between the clicks, the outlines of long, slender, four-fingered hands protrude from either side of the device. Examine. You turn the device over to examine the casing. The creature coos with interest at the side of the floor. On the bottom, opposite to the head, you find a carving of a stylized sun, with a hole at its center. You don't recognize the symbol, however, you can't tell if it's a maker's mark or something else entirely. Tiny indentations beneath the protruding hands catch your attention. They seem more than simple decorations. You run your fingers over them, probing carefully. Ribs. They appear to be this creature's ribs, pushing through the warm skin of the device. What's your name? Mer. The creature responds, rubbing his furry head against the pad of your thumb. Head on a stick, eh? Tiber says, leaning in. There was something like this at a party once, except it wasn't an adorable little creature. Ponders it, trying to remember. Ah yes, it was this soft, fleshy stalk with 7 faces. It opened its mouth and screamed, "Satisfy my breathing holes." Tiber clears his throat. There's 1,000 ways to kill the mood at an order, and that turned out to be one of them. Squeeze the protruding hands. You pinch the hand against the sides of the device. Eee, the creature says, its eyes widening. A tiny bulge moves up its tinier throat. Eee, blark. Spits out a rectangular tablet with a tiny hood. So it's basically a test dispenser that's alive. Heal 30 points of health and permanently increase intellect by 1. An obnoxiously cute feline creature spat out this rectangular tablet when you squeezed its hand. It smells of fruit, and yet it feels inorganic to the touch. Holding it makes your skin tingle, a sensation that promises great mental succor if you ate it. Okay, don't particularly need intellect that badly. Good healing item anyway. You pick up the object. It smells of fruit and makes your skin tingle. You look back at the creature. Mrrr, it says, its eyes starting between the tablet and your mouth. Apparently, you're supposed to eat it. Right. Why is the egg a quest item? That's what I don't get. What is that? Devouring shell? Right, what's the negative? -2 intellect. Whatever. Is the Merlin okay? Leave it alone.
Action! Here I come!
Wall of bones grows jagged and sharp, covered with tiny protrusions that would repair flesh. Do I see something else? No.
Sure enough.
That's the pool with the heartbeat. If we listen to it, we're basically going to fall.
Yes. Now.
3 fat arteries converge under a bridge of bloom flesh, spilling a foul, sludgy mess from the other side. It empties into the pool and spirals down into an open sphincter. Okay, can probably dump something there, maybe.
Absolutely.
Siobhan.
Of course.
Artaglio. Well, the leader of the soldiers. Everyone who's been eaten. A washed out, somewhat insubstantial Artaglio pulls toward you. The boozy cheer has vanished from his red and blotchy face. Now he's a study in fury. Although he seems ghostly, hardly a physical threat, he radiates a nearly palpable heat. You bastard! You utter conniving bastard! You tricked me into letting the bloom devour me. Now I get to watch it siphon away the parts of me that were best. I should have known better than to trust a cast-up. Make this right. Go on, do it. No. No choice, Artaglio. No choice? You had plenty of choice. You didn't have to open them all, but you did. You did, and you beaten me to it. Just like a cast-off, just like all your accursed kind. You volunteered, remember? It seemed like something you wanted. No, needed. I wanted to help you. That's a load of bullshit, though. You question me? You followed me. You made that choice. Artaglio, no matter how charismatic I am, I would not take the no matter how charismatic I am. I would exclude that. But it's more or less what I did, so No, I did what was best for you, for me, and for your soldiers. That's actually somewhat accurate. Of course you did what you thought was best, just like the rest of your kind. You imperious, lack-witted murderer, always sacrificing the mortals. What the fuck do you expect me to do? That's what everyone does. That's what they think is best. I took everyone's position into mind. You were basically a boozing loser that was blackmailing people there, taking part, providing minimal security and taking a huge chunk of their labor, and did nothing but boost themselves. The entire mercenary company was in basically just falling apart because of it. In basically, I sacrificed him for the greater good, more or less. Actually, didn't even do that. Convinced him to sacrifice himself. He throws himself at you, howling, and for a moment you see the man who was the hero of so many battles in his youth. You throw up your hands to defend yourself, but this isn't a physical attack. His body passes through yours, and you can feel him inside your mind, worming his way into the heart of your being. You feel his angry presence awaken in the labyrinth. He's achieved a kind of immortality there, or at least a new lease on life. Ironic that a cast-off should grant it. Well, it's not like I'm gonna see the labyrinth anytime soon, so hope he enjoys it.
Gladly.
At first you're not sure what you're looking at. It seems to be an enormous suit of metal armor, or perhaps some sort of an exploration suit. It's large, at least twice the size of an ordinary human, and its limbs and joints are completely foreign to you. Even if you could somehow find a way inside, you'd have to contort yourself in ways the human body was never meant to bend. It has a visor or faceplate at its top. Examine. The strange metal of this suit looks as if it could survive the cold of the interstellar void or the depths of the impossibly deep sea. When you push on it, it gives just a little bit and expands the same amount. The bloom flesh around the suit is puffy and irritated, almost infected. It seems that the bloom is trying to absorb the suit into itself without much success. There are a number of tools and strange devices attached to the suit's right hand. You might be able to extract one or two of these if you're careful. Look inside the faceplate. Some visitant lived inside the suit. A creature with multiple eyes scattered across its face. Based on the skeletal remains you can see inside. At least you assume they're eye sockets. They might have been some other alien orifice. Oddly, the creature had no visible mouth or jaw. Salvage. Coolant spray. Again, quest item. I have no idea where to use it. Most of the attachments are broken or corroded, but though some careful maneuvering, you're able to detach something that looks like a spray canister. A test squirt produces a blob of quick-drying liquid synth, highly effective sealant. Once you detach the device, you notice that there's more machinery deeper inside the suit's arm. Examine it. Your careful examination pays off. Near the faceplate, you find a small detachable lens. It may have been used to focus beams of light or some other visible force. You detach it carefully and store it away. Factory lens, okay. More components. You reach into the arm and your fingers graze a small metal orb. Sealant bomb. A lot of sealants in this. You carefully pry it loose and withdraw it from the arm. It looks like you've found a reservoir of a sealant material used in the spray device. You can probably block the whirlpool then. Use the spray, use the bomb. I can't really think of any other use for it.
Yes.
I'll recover some of our vital stats. Right.
All right.
This messy, puzzlant wall of flesh looks like nothing so much as a herniated mass pushing out through the weakened walls of the bloom. You can't identify the function of the organ that has pushed through the skin here, but you do see a small crevasse inside. Closer examination reveals a space inside, a hidden space, large enough for you to rest without being bothered. Ooh. Fuck, that's disgusting. Fleshy crevice.
Let's go.
The core. This one-gun man wears grit-stained ragged clothes and carries a wicked jagged knife, with blood still stains its blade. Though you see no evidence of bodies or victims. He sees you and his mouth works in an instinctive but passionless snarl. As his gaze shifts away, he sighs deeply. His voice is flat, affectless. I'm the life taker Dakor. You are in my territory. The gullet is your territory? I've marked it out. I've walked its paces. I know its contractions and its convulsions. Yes, mine. All mine. His confident mouth goes slack though, hanging open at the end of his words as though they were the only thing giving it shape. How did you get here? I came to the bloom to kill an old friend. I followed him deep into the vast and winding ways of this fell beast. He led me through a narrow vein and then a moor took me, bit down, chewed and chewed. And this is how the core dies, not at the hands of a mob or on the end of a levy's blade. No, in the gullet of the bloom, the biggest predator of them all. Tell me about this place. People, he begins, licking his ghostly lips. People dwindle here, like candles or starving men. Bloom eats us bit by bit until only the despair is left. Then we sink into the bloom, or throw ourselves into the whirlpool, or the moor takes us, or he trails off, brow contorted. So we wait, we sleep, try to stay ourselves. Where's the moor you mentioned? In these walls, in the floor, somewhere nearby, waiting. And it doesn't eat flesh or beer or murderous rage. No, it eats despair. It waits until we're full of it, full to bursting. It eats despair, right. You called yourself the life taker. What do you mean? He shakes his blade, looking at the ground, at the wall, anywhere but you. I kill people. I protect my territory. They feared me. Places where I walked, where I marked, they feared me. He trails off, muttering to himself. Are you threatening me? I mean... He thinks deeply, apparently unaware of the answer, as if he has been going through the motions for so long that he can't recall the reasons for them. Yes? I could threaten you. More than that, I could push you to the ground and chop you apart like all the others. His fingers tighten over his dagger, but there are tears in his eyes now. The tears of a lost child. But it wouldn't matter, would it? Not anymore. Actually, could you kill me? Want to kill me? Try. Why bother? Who's going to know? What good would it do? Fuck, it's hard to die in this game.
Yes.
I'm not using the tongues no matter what we can get out of them. I think I've used them at least once where I basically got minor piece of loot out of it. Not worth it. That was a mistake.
On it. Yes.
I guess the fighters are her job. Yeah, predatory echoes. They got transported here.
Of course.
For a moment, you don't recognize the slight transparent apparition because blood obscures her features. When she turns toward you, though, the sight of the armor and her memorable hair sparks your memory. It's Herja, the Angolan knight. She's digging into her forehead with a piece of sharpened bone, and her hands don't stop even as her eyes focus on you. Poison spills from her eyes and the venom from her mouth.
It was you who sent me here, wasn't it? One prison wasn't enough for you. You needed to deepen my torment with a fresh illusion. When I loosened my bonds here, I will come for you. You and all your mutant-loving kind. You bleed. You'll scream for mercy. I'll burn you alive, wrapped in the filthy embrace of the subhumans you champion. I'll eradicate you, scum.
He continues to snarl even as she continues digging into her flesh. You're a trained warrior, Herja. Surely you have the willpower to calm yourself before you do something rash.
Calm myself? Calm? I should spill your blood. No. No. You were fair to me. I need to hold on to that center. That self. You're not a part of this. What's a part of this?
The anger fades from her, replaced by uncertainty and doubt. She wraps her arms tightly around her body and rocks back and forth, trying to convince herself of some truth. Any truth.
Illusion. Truth. What of my memories? What of my childhood? I don't remember.
As she speaks, she gradually fades from view. Okay, so that can happen apparently.
Something to do.
You come upon a familiar scene. More semi-transparent figures are locked in combat with one another. Ooh, they all are pointing toward me. Faces twisted in mindless rage. They seem to sense your presence and turn to regard you. This one is not like us. He was not eaten by the great devourer.
No.
Agrees a woman who is dressed in the rags of a slave.
He is here for our pleasure in these final hours of our lives.
She raises her weapons. Her comrades do the same, baring their teeth and hissing like animals. Grizzly, are you any good? Sort of. Okay-ish. Predatory echoes. They have decent armor. Decent resistance. Shit. Yeah, they're very different actually. These two are actually good. I think these two are more resistant to spells, and the third is just a piece of shit. I can't do much before they'll be able to attack me. So, go there,
Something to do.
and opportunities.
all in the flick of the wrist.
Wonder. I don't think we need to use all that power here. These guys aren't good.
Surrender.
Yeah, there's no real point in doing anything. They're going to try to kill him, but they're not. They have basically zero chance of succeeding. So I can just kill them off. I don't think I need to use any specialty attack. Flex skill. Yeah, let's go for a kill, I think. Then reduce their numbers.
Down you go.
Can probably get... No. I was thinking I might get 2 for 1, but no. Thinking what type of points do we want to use. I want to reserve my intellect mostly. He would be vulnerable to spellcasting.
What do you think of this? Ready.
Not sure what he tried to do, but he's dead. Or... yeah, it just sort of just sucks. We don't really need to spend points to kill these.
Right.
They're not that good. I don't think there's no point even really bother casting at this point. Heal, I suppose. Have anything better to do.
Thank you.
Well, now they're at least together enough to could I target them both? Sort of, yes, maybe. No, they're not that close. Positioning with this ability in so that you can even get 2 targets is fucking impossible.
You want a job done right?
Hit or miss, I don't care.
Naturally.
Immune to daze.
Trouble coming
Okay, that's
your
great. Even when I'm immune to their abilities, I still get the effects. Didn't want to do this. I'm trying to loot that, whatever that is.
Yes.
Basic crap. Basically basic crap. Right. Trivially easy fight.
All right.
I didn't get the impression that it was supposed to be hard though. And the inslings are steep, it stinks of decay. It appears to have been stabbed and hacked.
Yes.
Yeah. A couple
Why
of
not?
bags of money and basic weapons.
Yes.
Trash opponents. This dead woman bears numerous stab wounds, probably inflicted by the predatory echoes that seem to infest the gullet. Judging by the scrawled maps and notes that are stuffed amongst her things, she may have been an explorer or a bloom guide. It looks as though her belts and pouches are mostly intact. You kneel down next to the corpse and let your trained eyes rove across her body. Here, a pouch seems to bulge, and your hand dips in and returns with a handful of shins. There, a pocket lies flat, and you ignore it. You realize that the guide's belt is no such thing. It's a length of synth rope, about 15 meters long, and as you touch it, it uncoils from her waist, almost as if it were responding to your need. It coils itself toward you, and you replace it among your possessions. The obedient rope. Basically, we can now stop the whirlpool, and we have a rope to descend into the hole. Yeah. Yeah. Reef of bones. Blackstone rings. This curious object is a pair of linked rings made of black stone-like substance. Together they are solid, the size of a clenched fist, but they can be disjointed and connected again, each time reforming into perfect circles. Okay, we'll use that to see what happens.
Don't mind if I do.
And I think there's really no other options for us here. We could rest if we want to, but I don't want to. We have a lot of buffs and things going for us. They're more valuable than the few points of speed, mostly, I guess, and intellect. This curious object consists of a pair of heavy linked rings made of a black stone-like substance. Locked together, they appear completely solid, roughly the size of a clenched fist. Rings are large enough to fit around a human wrist. Inspect. Regarding them more closely, it strikes you these are not two separate rings, but rather two representations of the same ring. Putting your ear to them, you hear a slight hum of transdimensional power. You feel like they could be useful somehow, though it's not immediately apparent what that use might be. Lore. We're actually very good at this. Stats, yeah, critical success. Yay, we got nothing back. After some time experimenting with locking and unlocking the rings, you confirm they are two representations of one whole. The energies they share can be used to transmit matter. The most obvious way to use these would be to wear them as bracelets. The question of activation is one of more experimentation. After poking, prodding, and rubbing the bracelet in various ways, you find it can be activated by squeezing it in a certain spot. Doing so will swap the positions of the two people wearing these bracelets. I see. Huh. Oh. Traitor's rings. Swap positions with a target completely refills health of both target and caster. Consumes movement. Okay, that's interesting. So it's a survive a dangerous situation. That's it. Alternatively, use it in a crisis where you need to be in two places in a very short period of time. We're starting to be a little bit too sick. Right. Symptoms increasing. We're losing edge. -2 intellect. I don't particularly care. But yeah, we need to just sell this shit off or just start using it. Don't really care. But I didn't want to use it in the previous version. I mean, they were trivially piss poor opposition, not worth sacrificing anything. But we're currently in a situation if we have an excuse to use a cipher, we'll use it instead of control flag. I'll probably attach the rope to this. First we need to shut these up. I'll talk to CO1 and leave things there. I think I can see the plan coming together. I also think you can probably just go in there, but that's not plan A, that's the exploration plan. The spear lines the face of this ghostly figure. His aquiline features are clean and strong, his head shaven. His eyes, empty sockets, are bleeding, but they turn to you. Hello? His voice deep and sepulchral. Glad you're here. Kill me, please. What happened to your eyes? I don't know. I came here too long ago, and memories are the first thing the gullet takes. Then hope, then the senses. All I know is that I've been here a long, long time. What happens if I kill you? Then I die. I disappear. The bloom gets no more of my essence. Whatever afterlife may await us is my reward. If you don't, I'll be here, fighting despair, listening to the weeping of the others and trading hopeless words until I fade away. Yeah, I don't have a trans-dimensional blade anymore, so I don't think I can kill him. Why do you want me to kill you? He looks at you, shocked, and speaks slowly. Why do I want you to kill me? Are you completely blind? Look around you. Look at this place. You think I want to dissolve here? The bloom is eating me, digesting me, and I'm stuck in its guts. What life is left for me? I don't particularly care. Why are you standing here? Listening. Sounds like a heartbeat, doesn't it? It sounds like peace. Well, perhaps you should jump in. You ever think that standing near this thing is what's making you want to die? He goes still for a moment, considering your words. Perhaps. Or perhaps it's the fact that I'm trapped here and I'll never ever escape until I'm dead. But have no fear. I'm not giving myself to whatever is down there. He leans away from the whirlpool ever so slightly. I've seen what happens to those who throw themselves into those waters. They're torn apart, but they don't die. They live on as part of the bloom. We hear them weeping sometimes, or screaming. Right. I'm not helping you. I'll leave things here. I'm seeing we're using the sealants to seal these. Use the rope to go down. That's plan. That's plan A. That doesn't work for some reason. I don't have plan B. Maybe we'll get CO1 to just sacrifice himself. See what happens.